Hello, sir. Good evening. So, this is my video presentation, defense documentation for ComSci 1 to 8, Lab 1. Alright, so to start, so for Lab 1, um, I decided to use my existing website project from ComSci 1 to 6 of last semester, which was the website personal portfolio. But the only difference is that it now has the some of the required features for ComSci 1 to 8, no, Lab 1. Alright, so for the front end, yes, HTML and CSS was used, and for the back end, I still used the Flask Python backend framework for the website, and the database was the MariaDB SQL database. Right. So for this lab 1, we have the following files: the app.py, this one. Then we have the forms.py, the second page.css. This is for the main.html after you log in. Then we have the print2.css. So these two were the CSS files also used for ComSci 1 to 6 project. So sprint2.css covers the register page HTML and the login page HTML, or the home.html. Then next we have the three HTML files: the home.html, which is the login, the page where you log in; the register HTML, where you register your user account; then the main.html, where after you log in. Alright. Yeah. So to start with the app.py, we first import following packages from the Flask module. So I can remove this. We have forms, the forms module. We import the classes session form and registration form for our forms on the other file. Then we have the Flask underscore session, yes, for the session handling. Then we have date time delta for the expiry date. Then we import the MariaDB module to connect. MariaDB connector Python to access MariaDB and MySQL databases. Alright. So for the session, I think I used the manual session handling. Well, even though the manual was, he said, sir, that it was outdated, but the available built-in sessions with Flask is not somehow applicable with to the project I am working on. Well, if I would implement the built-in, that would take much more time. So yeah, so I decided to use the manual session for now. Yeah. So to start with the application, we have the app equal to Flask name. Then we configure the required necessary information to access our database. So our database was Sprint Vista from last semester. Here, hi. Oh yeah. Right. So then we have the application.configure secret key for our website. Then you have permanent session lifetime up to 5 minutes. Alright, then you have session type, your file system, because um, it will be used to integrated, so it will be saved somewhere in the disk file. I forgot the detailed information why this was needed, but from what I've learned, it is needed. So anyway, so to start the session, we have session, then we have the app, which is this one, which is the app. Yeah. Then we have the app route, both the /empty and the /home. It should redirect to our home page where it starts the form username form. Yeah, so template to the form, and let me go there. So these were some of my debugging prints. So I would know the session was working. Then we have the add route when this was previously used when adding a new to count the last person who entered the website. But now this is now where the username from the user is where it is checked, no, from the database if it exists or not. So request from the request of form from the forms I filled up by the user, and we start session. Yeah, mali pala. Right, so connect with the SQL database and we print. And this was debugging stuff. And then we cursor execute. So we check here, where if the user email given by the user uh, exists, no, it's not equal to none, meaning there is an existing, so the user has registered an account. All right. If the visitor email from the forms and the existing email from the database and the password are equal, then will proceed to the next page, which is our main. Then if it is so, then we start the session. All right. And well, if else we redirect back to home, no? So inform the login successful stuff. Yeah. So yeah. So for the first feature, which is to create a login page, there should be a username password field to log in. So password field must have feature, toggle visibility, and error catch. Right, so I will just start first the uh, server to check. By will be acted ty to start the server. Okay, so I now have my control panel. So let's start the database. Okay, so it's running. Then we run the server. So wait on the content. Yeah, so it's running. So let's run our local host 5000. Right. Done. So for the first feature, login page, username, password field. So we have it right here, username and password field. Then we have the password visibility. So I was able to find an icon, but I found this one. So let's say like that. So when you Google that, so it's all right. Then I'll provide the correct so error catching. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to finish the error catching part of this feature. No, because yeah, I'm very sorry. Yeah, but I'm gonna finish. I'm still as of now, I'm still trying to debug. No, how working. I'm still working on how to make the error catching work. But yeah, it somehow works, but it does not display explicitly what which part with the which what are the errors of the user. So right here, I have already registered this email. We have the password right here. Anyway, so sorry for the interruption. So back to the presentation. Yes, I'm still working on error checking. So when we try to log in, my registered password. So this is the correct. So when you log in, right here. So this is the main page. Then when you log out, you will be redirected to the home page again. So let's log in again, but this time we'll enter a different password. Let's say that one. So it's clearly wrong. When we log in, so we are just redirected back here. So home page, knowing that the entered password does not match with the entered username. No? So right here, no? So else worked right here. So meaning this, no, so no existing email and password match, no? The query from the database right here. Okay, so this is actually redundant because I queried both again this visitor password. But I'll just edit this when I submit. But yeah, it still works because I added here index 0, which is the first, which show the user email, and still existing password. Yeah, so the only item queried. Right. So when we enter the wrong, username, password, then we are this work, the else. So there's no query. So else work. Then we return. We are returned back to the homepage. Yeah. So basically, feature one is complete, but yeah, I just don't have this part right here where it informs the user that it is valid. No? But yeah, yeah, wala lang sa inform notification. So for the second feature, you have the login page. You must have a registration feature to sign up. So I have this register right here button. Redirect to the register route. Right, slash register right here. Right, so we run form equals to registration form. Right here, registration form. So we have the first name, last name, email, password, confirm password, and submit. Which is right here now. First name, last name, email, password, and confirm password. So this also has some invisibility feature. Right. So sign up feature must check whether or not the username they're trying to register already exists. You must choose a different username. So yes, we also have that feature. All session. So we will check the database for the existing existing usernames on the database. Right, so here we have the existing usernames. So a lot of this username, so this was part of the working process. Alright, so we'll try this one, Michael Dosado. So this is clearly existing already on the database. So we'll try that if it gives an error. So Michael, then some whatever password. So part of the feature tells that the sign up feature must also check the password consists of at least 8 characters, one containing at least one capital letter, one number, and one symbol. Right, so clearly we have 8 but no capital, no number, no symbol. So when register, we have this error notification, but it's not really complete yet because it just tells that please match the requested format. It does not tell what constraints or parameters or restrictions it must or formats it must fulfill. No? So this is the only setback for my second feature. I still don't have the perfect notification information feature to inform the user whatever error they have. No? So anyway, it still works fine. So let's say CMSC 8. So we have a number small and we have, let's make it this. So we have uppercase, number, and a symbol. right? So, but also unfortunately for my registration, I'm still don't have not yet the confirm password feature to match if both passwords given are the same. So it should be like that. But fortunately, this still don't have, so whatever password you make, the only the first one will be registered, no, sa database. So let's try this. Okay, so of course the email already exists, so we are redirected back here to registration form. But still, yes, I still don't have the error information, but we are redirected back here, and we can see here in the terminal that email already exists. So I place that right here. Check email. Yeah, so this is the register route. Then when we are at the HTML, when we click submit register, yeah, we are redirected to the form action check, to the route check email, which is, and the method is post. We are redirected right here, check email. So we press the visitor email from the form, email, right here, email, and then we connect the database. Then we query from the database with the existing email given by the user. So if the current email, if there's any query that match, it will go to the current email variable right here, h1. So if current email is not equal to none, so meaning there is already an existing email in the database, so this will print, no, email already exists. So we have this one right here, meaning we have a current email, which, yeah, we have. Then exists plus 2, then we just render again the template with a new form. Alright, so if so, but else, if it works, then we will take note of the information given from the form. We connect to the cursor to the database. Then we insert, no, those data to the insert those data to the database. Email, password, first name, last name. So this one right here. User, email, password, first name, last name. Right, so we'll try this one. Insert, then we redirect. So when the information is added to the database, we are redirected back to the home page, to the login page. Yeah, submit here. Yeah. So this is only when there's an error in the database. Alright, so we'll try it again. So let's try make boss, and we'll try a new email. So since this is not deployed yet on the internet, so there's I still don't have the feature to really connect the email, to the internet, like in the Gmail or something to confirm. So let's try. But anyway, let's try a different email. Let's say CMSC128 at gmail.com. We have CMSC128 underscore. So these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so exactly 8 characters, 1 uppercase, 2 numbers, a number, and a symbol. So when register, alright, so we are redirected to the home page or the login page. So yes, so we have here in the terminal which says inserted. This one, meaning the information was stored, and we redirected back to the home URL. Home URL, alright? So you see a session right here now. So if I'm in a session, still in session, and going back home. So since we just registered, we did not log in, so we did not run this one. We just going back to home, right? So right here. So let's see on our database here. So this should show at the bottom. Okay, right here. So we have the information added database. We have this email and the password. And so we'll check it out. So log in. Let's check the third. Okay, so this will be after the login feature 2. So let's log in. Gmail.com. Then we have the password CMSC128 underscore. Right? Diba? Okay, so let's try to log in. Ayun. So we now enter the main page. Yeah, so this one. So yeah. So as we can see now, the login worked. So for the session, yes, so this will actually work now. The session will now work. Anyway, so for the third feature, once the user has successfully logged in, there should be a visible logout button somewhere in the page, so the user can voluntarily log out anytime. Permission login system. So here's my logout button, so it's quite visible now. When we click the logout, we are redirected. So we have this. So we have this JavaScript on-click function. So right here. So when we click logout, yeah, so we have my function to run. So this is my function 2, then we log out, then we will then redirect to the logout route. Right here, logout route, where this route, so this is where the session is stopped, or is stopped. Then we are redirected back to the home page, or the login page. So let's try to click logout. Okay. So we are back to the home page. Alright, then we have the logout, which is right here now, which is from the logout route here. Alright, so this is for the third feature. So for the last feature, session feature, has to be deactivated if user had no activity for 5 minutes. So login system informing session timeout. Yes. For the session, I am really still working on timeout, the 5 minutes timeout, because it somehow does not automatically log out if there is no activity, or regardless there was activity or not. So so I'm still working on this, but in general, I think this session really works. So I just have problems with the time expiration. So from what I've learned, to know if the session is actually working, if you just change the route right here, so main, so we are just redirected back to the home page. So meaning there is no session running. So let's try to log in again. So like CMSC, okay, gmail.com, CMSC homepage underscore. So if we log in, the session will start, right? But if we go back to the home page through this one, again, right? So sorry again for the interruption. So back to the session, if it works. So yeah, when I go to the home, I cannot do so because of this one, home. If main is in session, we redirect back to the main page, right? So this will print still in session. So we have the still in session right here. Alright, so we're in home. Then if main session, we print, so we print. So this was printed, so meaning we are still in session. Alright. So when we log out, alright, so we cannot go back to the main, no? Because alright, sorry, I thought there was something wrong with the code. So when I checked, it's fine. But so when we went to the main, right? Yeah, so we know that there's no session. So but when we go and went back to the main, we are redirected again to home because right here, so in home. So because there is no main now in session, so we are brought back to the home page with a new form. All right. So yeah, so if we open main, if main is session, yeah. So yeah, so this one also, no. So if we run main, yeah. So if main is in session, we automatically go back to main, So if not, then we just return back to the home page or login page. Right, wait, let's check an I. Main is in session. Alright. Okay, works. So I'll try now if this doesn't work. So even though if we're in session and we go back to home page, so let's try again. Let's try to log in. Okay, score. Alright. Alright, so since we removed the condition, so if we go back to main, to the home page, we can go back, right? We can go back for now. Then if we go back to main, right here, so this will run. If main is still in session, we will go back, to the main.html. So, but if there's no session, then we are still redirected again to this home page. So we'll try to go back. Alright, so indeed it goes back to the main page. So when we log out, so this is where the session ends. Ayun. So if we try to go back again to the main, alright, so we are not allowed to go back to the main page because there is no session, right? Right, because there is no session, so we are returned back to the home page. So yes, so for this point, so somehow some of the core requirements of the four features are met. Only some of the error catching notification or prompts are I'm still having problem. I'm still working on with those small features, the notification, but overall all the necessary features are working. The login, the register, the logout button, and yeah, I still have a prompt delete for the logout and the session. So I still also have some problem with the time, exact time to log out, the timeout for the session, but it works. Yeah. Alright, so thank you very. So I think this will be all for my video defense presentation documentation for lab first activity, second activity for ComSci 128. So thank you very much for staying, for watching this video, and God bless po and stay safe.